Everyone, welcome back to another episode of See You on the Other Side. So, we have got our sponsors here today, the founders of COLORS Gummies. Hi, guys. We've got Adam and Mike here with us.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, guys.
Good.
We ran into a couple of technical difficulties, so they are on the phone with us. You know, we're just going with the flow.
Yep. So you can see us, but you can't see them, which is what we wanted anyways. So, for our listeners, can you guys explain what COLORS Gummies are?
Absolutely. First off, thank you guys so much for having us on. It's exciting to be here. COLORS Gummies are mushroom gummies infused with psilocybin-containing mushrooms. They're microdose gummies intended for people that want to begin exploring the healing benefits of medicinal mushrooms.
Love that.
Love that answer.
Like already we're over here smiling like goofballs.
Well, disclaimer, we had some before this episode started, so we're feeling good.
Oh, nice.
And what did I say? I was like, these are literally the best tasting gummies we have ever had.
Yeah.
Like ever. So you guys do a fantastic job with like the quality and the taste. Like they don't taste like dirt or shit.
I genuinely look forward to
Yeah,
having one.
there's a lot of reasons for that. But we put a lot of time and effort into developing and really making sure that our flavors stand out. When looking at a lot of the other brands out there prior to developing our own, it was important that we put something out that tasted good, but most importantly, functioned as intended. So we're happy that you guys enjoy them.
Can you share the inspiration behind COLORS? Like what got you into this space?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had spent several years in the cannabis industry prior to jumping into COLORS, or jumping into this venture, I should say. And after exiting the cannabis industry, we were looking for something to do, and the pandemic had hit, and, personally, I kind of went through a bit of a difficult time, and that led to trying to look for ways to get out of like the post-COVID long symptoms, a little bit of depression. I'd gone through a divorce and had some family illness, and over time I really started looking for ways to bring myself back to the old me. And I had heard about mushrooms, but I was always afraid of mushrooms previously. Everything that I'd heard about mushrooms previously was, being out of control. And I'm a person that typically likes to be in control of myself and my surroundings. And then we heard about microdosing. So I did a little bit of research and decided to try it. And, to say that it was life-changing is a bit of an understatement. And, having had the experience that we had in the cannabis industry, that led to, wanting to perhaps pursue the mushroom industry. When looking at, how it mirrors cannabis and where it's headed, we realized that there were a lot of similarities and that this was probably something that we could do. Even further than that, looking at other products when, we were each kind of on our own microdose journey, trying to find products that were consistent, that tasted good, and that were reliable, was proving to be pretty difficult. And so that, all those factors combined are what really prompted us to decide to take a leap of faith and start COLORS.
I love that. Do you still have the same relationship with cannabis now that you have experienced microdosing and psilocybin?
No. For me personally, no. For me personally, I never had a deep relationship with cannabis from a user's perspective. I had gotten into cannabis initially because I was using it a bit, for recreational and therapeutic reasons, and then it turned more into a business for me, and I started kind of backing away from using it. It just didn't over time, I noticed that it wasn't providing me with, the effects that I really needed. And so I started personally pulling away from it. And now I hardly use it at all. If anything, I use minor cannabinoids such as like CBD and CBG, and maybe low doses of THC occasionally.
Okay.
Interesting. What about you, Mike? How did you get into the psychedelic space?
A lot like Adam. I was, we were in the cannabis industry together for quite some time. And after the pandemic, we had started discussing things. We heard about microdosing. I personally saw the Netflix documentary, Fantastic Fungi by Paul Stamets.
Great.
And it sparked my interest a little bit more. And then it started to just be out in my world. Just, I kept hearing about psilocybin and psychedelics and how they could help, with different ailments and all sorts of things. And me personally, I've struggled with anxiety since I was a kid, really bad. Always had anxiety, had been on different SSRIs my entire life. Actually got diagnosed with OCD when I was about 17 years old.
Wow.
And then when I moved to LA to go to art school, I actually started using a lot of cannabis to kind of, I don't want to use the word self-medicate, but to medicate.
Yeah.
And, I give cannabis I do feel that there are healing powers in cannabis for certain people. But after a while, I found that cannabis was actually doing the negative to me. It was giving me more anxiety and making everything worse. So I kind of pulled away from cannabis in my late 20s after I got out of school and started working professionally. And then I just was more in the business end of it with Adam. And then, once I came across psychedelics, kind of like Adam, I was always apprehensive, scared to use them, always heard about the worst things possible, seeing things and, just losing control and all that kind of stuff, bad trips. So I was always very apprehensive, very, very, I guess you would say, scared. But after reading more, watching the documentaries, especially the Fantastic Fungi, and just seeing the healing powers of it, I decided to take a leap of faith. And just like Adam, it was so life changing. It was just, I couldn't even put it into words. I was so excited. I told my wife about it. I told my sister. I told my mom. Just how it changed me. It just, after just a week of microdosing, I felt so different, and I felt so youthful and energized, and just kind of like Adam said, back to the old me. Back to that youthful me. I had just a clearer vision and just a more level head about everything. And, I was like, there's no way this can last. This is just one of those things that, you first try something and what is this, placebo? And then, I continued to microdose, and I kept up with it for about a year. I did a year of straight microdosing, 3 days on, 2 days off, and kept that up for a year.
Wow.
And it was truly life-changing. It helped with my marriage. It helped with my anxiety. It helped with just so many different things in my life. And I can't say enough about it. I truly believe in the healing powers of it. And I just love to tell my story to people that, are very apprehensive, and, just are second guessing trying it or not even thinking about trying it. I don't try to push it on people, but I also,
Right.
Let them know the fears that I had, that Adam had. We were both very fearful of it at first, and there's come to find out there's nothing to be fearful of it. It's fearful of. It's just it's such a wonderful healing medicine, and I just can't say enough about it.
Are we in an alternate universe? Like, I feel like they're us, but the guys.
Well, and Leah, you always say this. You always say that cannabis is like the gateway drug, but not like what people think.
Right.
It's almost like you use it and you're like, okay, so like they were wrong about this. What else are they wrong about? And then it opens new doors. Right. All four of us started with cannabis, even though there was some fear there. And then it was like, okay, like what else is out there? And then it's almost like once we found mushrooms, cannabis wasn't as necessary
100%.
anymore.
Yeah.
No. And
totally agree.
It still has its place,
Sure.
for a lot of people.
Totally.
But I just don't feel that, personally, my opinion is it doesn't do close to what mushrooms do for a lot of people, especially if you're suffering from anxiety, depression, PTSD. I think I personally had convinced myself, and we did a lot of good things in cannabis. We worked with disabled veterans. We provided them free cannabis on a monthly basis, and for a lot of those guys, it really, really helped. But I believe that mushrooms are more impactful in a lot of different ways.
I like to say that cannabis works until you find mushrooms.
Clip.
Marking that.
Yeah, anytime we have like a little, like somebody says something where we like it, we were like, okay, that's going to be a video clip.
That's going to be a clip. I've never heard anybody say it that way.
We should put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, I love that because that's so fucking true.
Well, and it's like what you guys said, like my relationship with cannabis has just changed. Like the intention behind it is very different now. I will use it for a date night with my husband to, stay in and watch movies or something like that. But it's not something that I go to the way that I used to.
Exactly.
And I, even until recently, was somebody who used it much more frequently than Leah. And I've stepped back. And I think it was contributing to me maybe not sleeping as well. And then I felt dependent to use it for sleep. And now that I've taken kind of a long break from it, I feel a lot better. Yeah. So
yeah, that's awesome. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So we're not hating on it by any means.
No.
I love it.
We don't want to
still.
sit here and badmouth cannabis because, like Adam said, I think there are a lot of healing parts to cannabis, and
Absolutely.
you can get a lot of benefits from it. But I think it's just like anything. You can,
there are better alternatives.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well put.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. Okay, so the next question we have, because I almost feel like I'm saying it wrong too. Amanita? Am I saying that right?
I mean, that's the way we say it.
Okay.
Some people say Amanita. Some people say Amanita.
Okay.
Yeah, it.
That's okay. So I need you guys to explain this to us like we're 5 years old, especially for our listeners, because I remember the first time I ever posted about Amanita. Somebody came into our DMs and was just like, just so you guys know, that's extremely toxic and you guys should be very careful. I brought it to your all's attention and you explained exactly what it was and what it was doing. And I was like, okay, this makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So people love to bash it as toxic, and it certainly can be under the right amounts, and especially if you're eating it raw, wild harvested. So to understand Amanita, first you have to understand that it's been used for centuries in shamanistic rituals, and it originated in Eastern Europe. And still, the majority of the Amanita in the United States is being imported from out of the country, primarily from Eastern Europe. The reason for that is, Amanita cannot be grown, at least as far as we know, and for the people we've spoken to who cultivate mushrooms professionally, it cannot be grown indoors, through altered or artificial environmental conditions like psilocybin containing mushrooms can. The reason for that is that it requires specific set of nutrients that it pulls from the rooting structure of the birch tree. So you'll see them growing in nature scattered around the roots and the bases of the birch trees. And that's where, people really, it's a wild harvested mushroom. I know that there are people working on figuring out ways to simulate those environments indoors and to grow it indoors in bulk. But as of now, at least the Amanita that we use is all wild harvested Amanita that's been imported into the country legally.
And just so all your listeners know, Amanita is the quintessential red top mushroom with the white dots that you would see, the Santa Claus mushroom, the Super Mario mushroom.
I was going to say Mario Brothers. My son watches that movie on repeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And is it a coincidence that Mario eats the mushrooms and then gets big and strong and has these powers?
Absolutely not. Disney knows exactly what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. They're very smart.
And Amanita, as of now, it's a 49 state legal mushroom. And you know, your listener that did comment about being toxic, it can be toxic, but the typical toxic doses, and all cases that have been reported, are anywhere between 6 to 8 grams of consumption.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
So that's a ton. You'd have to eat 6 to 8 grams of just the caps. The caps are where all the efficacious tryptamines are located. It's all in the caps of the mushroom. It's not like typical psilocybin containing mushrooms where you have your stock of the mushroom and the caps are all containing the efficacious molecules. In this case, it's primarily the caps, and you have to eat 6 to 8 grams. Okay. So that's a heavy amount. And at that point is when you can begin to experience some psychedelic experiences, stomach discomfort, sometimes hospitalization, stuff like that. But again, like everything we do, in moderation and in microdose, it has some really, really, really great benefits. So, in microdose form, what it does is it acts differently than psilocybin in the sense that psilocybin works on your dopamine and serotonin receptors. So it signals the brain to flood the body with all of these happy chemicals, giving you that feeling of euphoria, connectedness, relaxation, and all of these things. Amanita works on the GABA receptors in the brain, much like alcohol or benzodiazepines do. It downregulates the central nervous system and helps the body relax and calm down. And so what I use it for specifically is just for relaxing after a long day, if I've had a stressful day, or if I'm experiencing a little bit of anxiety. It really helps to calm me down.
It's a great sleep aid as well.
Yeah. Oh, huge. It can really, really help increase, not only the longevity, but the quality of sleep. I use a Whoop band and I use a Whoop band and I track my sleep every night. So my band will tell me, how many minutes I spent in REM, deep, light sleep. And I do notice pretty dramatic changes when I do eat Amanita prior to bedtime. Absolutely.
Good.
I know.
No, especially since I was just talking about I struggle with sleep sometimes. So I noticed that when I take it, so I have ADHD, and we took it one day when we were together and we were getting ready to record and we were working on things. I took it and I felt like I could focus better. What is it about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Why? Explain it to me like I'm 5.
So two things. And going back to the cannabis conversation here, I don't think we can give all of the credit to the Amanita here. Our Amanita gummies are infused with 3 milligrams of THC per gummy. So that's 3 milligrams of hemp-derived THC. And again, this is legal across the United States because we have something called the Farm Bill that came out in 2018 to protect hemp farmers and their products. So if there's under 0.3% of THC by weight in any given product, it is legal across the country. It's federally legal. So we include an additional 3 milligrams of THC in there, and that was just through trial and error. We're always looking to improve our products. Anytime we release a new product, there's months and months, if not a year or so of R&D behind it. And in this case, we did several iterations and different R&D batches. And one of them, we decided to put, 3 milligrams of THC in to see what would happen. And, certainly there was a really synergistic effect between the THC and the Amanita. So I think if you're experiencing a bit of focus and it's allowing you to work through the ADHD, I think a part of that may be the very low dose of THC, but also the ability of the Amanita to down-regulate and calm your central nervous system, allowing you to be able to concentrate better.
That makes a lot of sense for you, Christine.
Make a lot of sense. Yep.
Yeah. That's exactly why she, Anyway. And what I'm noticing is like, there are a lot of sites now that sell Amanita, and so many people are confused. Like, they think that they're getting psilocybin. They think they're getting magic mushrooms. They think they're being sold as magic mushrooms, and that's what they think they're getting. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, and they're marketing it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I think like Mike was just about to say, there's a lot of people just market it as magic mushrooms
And psychedelic.
Yeah. We purchased many Amanita mushroom gummies before we ever launched ours, and tried them all. And I mean, I'm looking at the pack right now. It says galactic passion fruit, psychedelic mushroom, and to a certain extent, they're not lying. Amanita can be psychedelic, but not the doses that people are making, these gummies. People are usually doing between 300 and 700 milligrams per gummy. We do 500 milligrams per gummy because it's coupled with the THC. But at those doses, I think it's misleading to tell anybody that you're going to experience anything psychedelic.
Totally, for sure.
Even if you were to eat the entire bottle, which has 10 gummies in it, you're still only getting 5 grams. And I don't think you're going to experience anything psychedelic. But also, not all Amanita is created equal, and that's another big thing. Is with all mushrooms, I should say, not all mushrooms are created equal. A lot of chocolate and gummy manufacturers, or anybody really making any type of mushroom, product out there, when creating it, you can always take the fruiting body. So we call the actual mushrooms, we call them the fruiting body.
Yeah.
And that's obviously how all mushrooms begin, is in fruiting body form. They're then dried to remove any moisture content, so that there's no, any type of additional fungus growth or salmonella or E. coli or anything like that. So it's very important that they get dried properly. But then a lot of companies will go straight from dried fruiting body into, they'll mill the product into a fine powder, and then they'll just introduce it directly into their gummy mix or their chocolate. That's a really old school way of doing it. It's how people started, making mushroom chocolates and mushroom gummies years and years ago. But I think just as with anything, the market evolves and people kind of push the boundaries to try to create better products. And it's what we did with both our Amanita product and our other, microdose and double dose product was we looked for a better way and a more consistent way of dosing. And so we use an extract. It starts as a fruiting body, the mushroom fruiting body. And we turn it into an extract through kind of a proprietary, extraction method. And that extract is 5 to 7 times stronger than fruiting body mushrooms alone.
Wow.
But we also remove a lot of other properties, that can be harmful, to the gastrointestinal system, making it quicker absorbing, and easier on the body, especially if you prolong the usage with microdosing.
A better user-friendly experience.
Yeah, smoother experience
for sure.
You guys,
Adam, maybe you should explain the difference between an extract and a synthetic that people are using, so people don't get confused by that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of talk of that these days.
That's a good point. Nowadays as well, a lot of people are using synthetic lab-derived mushroom products. So, nowadays, there are a lot of lab-derived alternatives to mushroom, either psilocybin or Amanita that are being used. Have you guys heard of any of those? Maybe the 4-ACO or anything like that?
No.
No. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, and most brands that do use these things don't disclose it.
Okay.
And it's essentially a lab-derived product that's molecularly, almost identical to psilocybin or even Amanita. And what the issue with that is, it's pretty clear. It's a lab-derived product. It's synthetic. It's not we believe, that the healing, the true healing comes from Mother Earth. It comes from the earth. And so for us, it's, one of our primary core values is that if it doesn't come from the earth, it doesn't belong in our products.
Love that.
And so really, we want people to become aware and really do their research and do their homework and understand that there are a lot of companies out there that are going to these lab-derived products because, from a production standpoint, they can produce their products for half the cost. And a lot of these brands are just in it to make money. We're not in it to name names or call anybody out. That's not what we're after. We just want to educate the end consumer and let them know that these, lab derived, chemicals, I should say, do exist, and that we don't really know the long term effects of them. They're not studied. It's not something that's been used for centuries, like psilocybin or Amanita. So people need to do their research and be aware of what they're putting into their body. As far as colors is concerned, we don't use these products, never have and never will use these products. But that was an important point that we wanted to make, sure. I feel like I went on a bit of a tangent.
No, sorry, is there a way for consumers to know what the difference is when looking for products? We know that that's what you guys do, but how do they look out for that?
I don't know that any of these companies do list these things on their ingredient. And if they do, good for them. If they're being transparent about it, then that's fantastic. If you're using it, at least be transparent about it. But if not, then I think, any company that has a product that's outward facing to consumers should make themselves available to answer emails, text messages, DMs. And we make ourselves available. So if anything, reach out to these companies. And if you can't get a hold of someone, this is our opinion, if you can't get a hold of someone who's going to answer questions about a product that they sell, you don't think you should buy that product. Yeah. It's just as simple as that. And like Mike was saying, all of our products are third-party lab tested. We work with a couple different labs, primarily one up in Oregon. It was one of the first nationally accredited labs to test for, psilocybin, Amanita, and other types of mushroom products. So they test our products for potency, shelf life stability. They check it. They even can do, shelf life stability testing. And so we have these certificates of inspection that are available at anybody's request. So if anybody would like to see these, they're more than welcome to email us and request them, and we're happy to send them over to potential consumers.
Love that.
You know what I love about you guys is your Instagram. You guys provide a lot of education. And so I kind of want to share. So Leah found you guys, and I will never forget it. I'm just at home, sitting on my couch, being a pile of poo, and she sends me your guys' page, and she goes, look at this brand. She goes, first off, their branding is amazing. Like, their colors are like our colors, and they're literally called colors.
They are very simple.
And she's like, it's so pretty, and I feel like, and she's like, they don't just give products. They provide a lot of education. They answer a lot of questions. They're very thorough with what they tell their consumers. And so she kind of manifested you guys, I feel like. And I'll just say we, because I was just, I'll just say we, because I was like, yeah, this seems great. This is awesome. But she's like, I followed them, and I really love what they have,
what they're doing,
and maybe we could work with them one day. And I was like, that sounds amazing. And I think a day or two later, you guys messaged us.
Yeah. Wow. That's what you told us. You were like, wow, I feel like I manifested this. and thank you so much. Those are such kind words. And we felt the same when we came across your page and started looking through it. And, I think it's what you guys are doing is incredibly important in destigmatizing, the medicine. And bringing it to the mainstream public, allowing people to see, your everyday life, the vulnerabilities that you carry and how you use things, I think is so incredibly important. And if we're going to create a change in the way people see this medicine, and I think eventually, hopefully change the legislative parameters around it, I think it's all of this is incredibly important to do. So, I think you guys are doing a great job of that as well. And that's the reason we reached out to you guys. So I think it was just meant to be.
Yeah. Well, and we said that in our first episode back this season, we talked about you guys and said one of the things that we loved about you so much is that like these other brands who reached out and sent us products, there's nothing on their page about education or dosing or just being safe. It's all like, fuck yeah, mushrooms, let's get fucked up, and we're not about that. Like we never aligned with any other brand because we are like, yeah, that's great, but what about the healing benefits? What about this part of the medicine? And why are we not talking about that?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And everything we do over here is very well thought out and planned and talked about before we put anything out. Whether it's a new product, whether it's a post, anything like that. We want to put out the best product possible, the best information possible. Just do our best and stand behind this product. And Adam and I both believe that we don't want to put out anything that we wouldn't give to our mother or to our best friend or to our brother or sister. This
Love
isn't
that.
like Adam had mentioned before. This isn't about making money, and this is about really, really helping people and just getting the medicine out there and getting the education out there, which is what you guys are doing, what we're trying to do. And just really, really getting it out there because it's been around forever. This medicine's been around forever, but there's so much unknown to the everyday person about it.
Yeah.
Misunderstood.
It's misunderstood. And I think that's where we need to change it. And just, when people can put faces to, this person is using a microdose, to help them with their certain ailment, people can really identify with that and maybe take a leap of faith and open their hearts and their eyes to it a little bit more. And, that's what we want to do, with Colors. And that's our goal.
Yeah.
Is just to move everything forward.
And at the end of the day, like these medicines are very sacred. So it's like, yeah, you can go and have fun and trip, but
sure,
there's also so much more to it than that. And I love that you guys keep that in mind, which kind of leads me into my next question is, being in this space, we've had a lot of amazing things that have happened. But we've also had some setbacks as well. And so can you guys share some of the challenges, but also some of the successes that you have had being in the psychedelic industry? Because there's a
tough one.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's a lot of good, but there are some setbacks that come with it.
Of course.
Absolutely. I think our biggest success is receiving praise from people like yourself, and other patrons of ours that email us. And those are our biggest successes, is getting emails from people that, express to us how our product has changed their life, telling us that, they've been off their Wellbutrin or their Prozac for 3 weeks now, and they haven't touched it since taking a COLORS Gummy. Like those really are our biggest successes. And the struggles are endless. I'm sure you guys know it's been a struggle. Going back to what I mentioned about being in the cannabis industry, and for me personally, one of my biggest regrets in the cannabis industry was never building a brand. We were just wholesale producers, and our product would end up in other people's bags with their brand names on it, and that's why when legislation changed in 2018, it was hard to move into the legalized space without a brand. And so for us, this was kind of a leap of faith, is saying let's build a brand and let's market this brand. And it's been challenging, building something from the ground up. We're both not big when it comes to social media, really.
Your social media is great.
Thank you. We do have a little bit of help. We have help. Yeah, we can't say it's all us by any means.
Yeah, we have a really good social media team.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's learning all of these things kind of on the go while simultaneously trying to develop and put out quality products has definitely been a challenge, and also maintaining a steady flow of resources that we need, to develop these products is difficult because this industry isn't regulated, to a certain degree yet. It's difficult to find reliable people to work with that will provide us, reliable product for our gummies. And we have to be, because we're trying to put out a good product, we have to be very picky about the types of mushrooms that we use, the ways that they're grown, and the condition that they come to us in. And so being as picky as we are, it's been difficult finding people that can provide us reliable product, but we've managed to create relationships with, really good local farmers that grow product organically, and ethically, most importantly as well. So, definitely those have been some of the struggles. But we're pushing our way through it. Also the legislation surrounding mushrooms and the way that certain companies on social media companies view this type of thing and try to regulate what we can and cannot speak about is also difficult. Yeah. Not being able to use certain words or certain phrases to say certain things, getting shadow banned, and it's been difficult, but we're pushing through it. I'm sure you guys know about that part.
We absolutely do. Yeah,
we've gotten banned from TikTok and Instagram a few times now.
We always manage to get it back, but
right. What happened to free speech?
Right.
Yeah,
honestly.
Right. Well, and the way that I see it, we're Christine and I would consider ourselves sober, but like for people that can be on social media getting shit-faced and talking about it and advertising for alcohol, like why is what we're doing worse? Like how does that make sense?
Factually, it's not. Factually, alcohol is the worst drug.
So that's where it doesn't make any sense to me, but it's also what keeps us going. We're gonna keep fighting for this because we know in our hearts that what we're doing is the right thing. I also think it's so fitting. You guys are like, social media is not our thing. We're like behind the scenes. We're just the people doing the things. And then Christine and I literally made a joke last week. Like, we're the faces. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we are the talent.
We don't want to do any of the things. We don't want to do any of the things behind the scenes.
We don't. We want to
put us in front of the camera.
But I do think that there is like a role for everybody in this, I don't know what you want to call it, this wave, this renaissance. And I do truly believe that like our role is to be the voices and to be the informers and to provide people with information and to provide people with connections that they otherwise wouldn't have known about. So I think we're where we're supposed to be, and I think you guys are right where you're supposed to be. I can't see myself.
Well, and we are also the people because of we can. We have the privilege that we are the ones who can do it and talk about it and share our faces, and not a lot of people want to, and I completely understand that.
Is it also like a little bit of a delulu? Like we're a little bit delusional in our...
That's all right. That's all right.
Privilege and delusion, that's what we've got going for us.
And I think I do agree what you guys are doing is super important. I mean, in the power of information, it can't be taken for granted. It really, when you're educating people properly, the effect that it has on this industry and where, we all hope to see it is huge. As I mentioned previously, just seeing cannabis go through all the different phases. I was in cannabis personally, before there was any legality to it, and saw it through all the various phases, and eventually through complete legalization in the state that we're in. And we definitely see this industry moving in the same direction. federal, local, state governments, they've all learned their lesson with cannabis. And that was, cannabis was moving at a much slower pace than mushrooms is, because social media and the internet in general wasn't where it is today.
Right.
Information wasn't as readily shared as it is today. And so we expect the mushroom movement to take shape so much quicker than cannabis ever did for those reasons. And being there to help try to influence it and move it in the right direction is really important. But my personal opinion is that it's just like cannabis, just like anything else. When the powers that be figure out a way to make their piece of the pie, they'll let it pass.
Yeah.
But until then, we will be treated the way we're treated.
Yeah. I'm glad that this renaissance has happened after the pandemic, and I think it was meant to happen that way, because I feel like a lot of people are waking up and being more open and curious to new ways of thinking, new ways of doing.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. The pandemic was, for me personally at least, was a real eye-opening experience. Like I said, I'd gone through some things during and just before the pandemic. But I think it really opened a lot of people's eyes to how important self-care is, how important just maintaining a healthy lifestyle is. At least where we're at now, there's, seemingly a trend away from alcohol. We're seeing all these non-alcoholic drinks that are coming out, whether they have cannabis or other botanicals in them that claim to give you that same buzz without, the negative impacts of alcohol. People are trying and looking for alternatives to alcohol or even some other recreational substances to be able to relax and let go and unwind that don't impact their health and impact their daily lives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that.
I do too. So this renaissance, where are you guys hoping that, what do you see for the future of Colors, for the future of
your brand,
your brand in the plant medicine space? And what are you hoping for the future of just the plant medicine space as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for the plant medicine space in general, it's going to continue to evolve. As an industry outside of mushrooms, it's huge. As an industry as it relates to mushrooms, it's small now, but it's rapidly growing. I mean, every day, just obviously because we have our finger on the pulse, we're seeing brands emerging, even clothing brands in this space emerging, and it's beginning to take shape, and it will continue to take shape. And as I mentioned before, I think where we see it going is decriminalization, legalization, just the same as cannabis is taking shape or has taken shape. And for us, our goal and our mission right now is to just simply educate, put out good, reliable, consistent products that people can depend on for their mental health, physical health, emotional health. And just to really build a brand and kind of stake our flag in the ground for now and hope to drive that legislative needle in the right direction and do what we can so that when the time comes and things move in that direction, we're already prepared and not trying to play catch up.
Yes.
Pumped.
I'm clapping for that one.
Give us more products.
Absolutely. There's more on the horizon.
Yeah, more to come.
That's what we wanted to hear.
Innovating and trying to develop. Absolutely.
I want to go back to two things that my ADHD didn't allow me to blurt out, but
what are those balloons?
I have no idea what that was. Did you see that?
What's what?
Sorry, on our end. I just did it again. I don't know what's going on.
Never mind.
We're having weird technical issues, but on Leah's video, balloons are popping up.
Balloon?
So hard. Leave it.
How am I going to edit that out?
You don't.
Okay, so let me go back to what I was
say. How many gummies did you guys actually?
Oh my god! We took one gummy each.
I swear we just microdosed.
So one of the things I wanted to say, as you were explaining Amanita in comparison to the microdosing gummies and psilocybin, it kind of, and I hate relating it to this, but it reminds me of the relationship CBD has to THC. Like, it's like, my husband always calls CBD like diet weed. And
interesting. Okay.
But it kind of reminds me of that. So it's like, if you're just trying to like relax and like have a good time, but not like have any type of like psychedelic type experience or even microdose that type of experience, like Amanita sounds like that might be like the CBD to it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely. In that relation, kind of, absolutely. I think we can make that kind of analogous comparison there. CBD is definitely related in a different way to THC, just because they're both derived from the same species and the same plant. Whereas Amanita, yes, it's the mushroom species, but it's a completely different mushroom. But in terms of effect, I think you're spot on. It is a different type of experience, and it is more, geared towards deeper relaxation, allowing your central nervous system controls all the functions in your body, and our central nervous systems are just barraged all day long with all sorts of things, whether it's just stress or different noises and sounds, and if you have kids, if you've got coworkers at work, it's just everything that we go through on a daily basis really takes a toll on our central nervous system, and Amanita allows your central nervous system to just take a break, just down regulate and just chill out. And so, like I mentioned previously, I use Amanita multiple days a week, especially on days that were, emotionally taxing on me. I have I call it a social battery personally, and sometimes if I feel like my social battery's been heavily drained, it really allows me to just down regulate and relax. And I'll just sit on the couch, binge some Netflix for a couple hours and chill.
I love that.
Enjoy doing nothing.
Yeah.
Amanita and chill.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember, but
Amanita and chill. I love
that too. But it made me very philosophical. Like, I was getting very deep with you and wanting to talk about a lot of things and much more open and vulnerable.
Yeah, that's going to be our new thing. Amanita and chill.
Amanita and chill. Screw Netflix. Right.
Yeah, that's so good. That is so good. I love it.
New tagline.
Okay, so what was the other thing?
So the other thing I wanted to say, you touched on earlier how much you guys are how if you're not able to reach out and ask questions, that might be a problem. And I just wanted to commend you on the fact that you have always answered our questions so quickly and so well. And I didn't realize you did that for everybody.
And very thorough.
That makes me feel even better that we're working with you, because, we'll get a product or something and I'll message you guys and ask, I feel stupid questions, and you're there's no such thing as stupid questions.
Yep.
And here is the answer, and here is exactly what it is and why it's doing this. And I was like, oh my God, they're so thorough. And I remember sending Christine a screenshot one time of one of your messages, because I was like, holy shit, these guys made me feel safe. You guys really made me feel safe about what I was doing. So
thank you so much. I mean, that means so much. And yeah, we're, I'm not going to say always, we got to sleep, and, we have, family lives and stuff like that. But, anytime questions do come in, whether it's through DM, email, on Telegram, we always try to make sure to get back to that person as quickly as we can and answer those questions. And really it just comes from, we're not here to just put out a product and then just take people's money. That's not what we're about. We're here to spread the word, educate people, and we want everybody just to feel comfortable the way that you feel comfortable. And in fact, we had someone that referenced your podcast and said was a listener of yours that actually hit us up, I believe yesterday, and had some really, really educated questions and needed some answers and asked for comparisons between, other products from another company that they were taking, and was asking how ours compare. And we had a good discussion, but
love that.
Definitely always available for that type of thing.
So another reason to check out Colors, and we love that. It's another reason we love working with you guys. So yeah.
Thank you. We love working with you as well. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
No.
I know. I'm like, we did a really good job of covering everything today and shooting the shit.
I was going to say,
you
shooting
guys
the shit.
comfortable.
I hope so. This was our first podcast.
Yeah.
This is my first podcast. So
You're a little nervous on this.
You guys did amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys did a
Absolutely.
great job. You did a great job. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing in this space. You're in the right place. I love that your journey, where you are now, where you guys are headed. We're excited to see it. And for our listeners, we have a link in our bio. Check it out. Our discount code is OtherSide15. Check out their products. We're big fans. I mean, we're believers for sure.
Thank you so much for having us, guys.
Appreciate you guys so much for everything you're doing.
Thank you. We'll talk to
Thank
you soon.
you.
Bye.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Bye, guys.